All right, TGI Friday, November 5th, 2021. Uh, Quick reminder, tomorrow at Toyota Park, under the bubble, 4 p.m., our soccer team will be playing a game. Go support them if you have the time. I'm sure they'll appreciate it. Headquarters today, 3 of our officers went into a no-paid status because of the vaccine policy. Dozens others were given a CR number for disobeying the direct order and then complying with the portal after the fact as we advised and recommended. That policy hasn't changed. The goal here is to now just inundate the department with hundreds, if not thousands, of CR numbers for disobeying an unlawful order. And it is still unlawful. Our position has not changed. They are giving you an order to violate your contractually protected labor rights. They don't think it's unlawful. That's great. But labor law still matters. And shame on many of them who seem to want to ignore that fact or think they're just doing what they're told because they have no options to say no. Well, every single one of them has the option to say no, but still are not. Not one, think about that, not one exempt rank member said demote me back to captain or lieutenant. I'm not going to do your dirty work. Just remember that next time they ask you for particular activity because their numbers are low and they're hearing it at Comstat. Shame on every one of them. But going forward, Monday, it's expected that at least be second watch, possibly third too. I don't have a definite answer on that yet, but we will be there all day long. You do not have to receive counseling from any exempt rank member without union representation. If you end up in a part of the building where we are not, whoever is there, you tell them you want your union representation in the room before you get counseled. They cannot force you and subject you to counseling without one of us there. And we'll have at least 4 people there to guarantee as much coverage as possible. But we're asking you to not comply at the counseling station. We're asking you to then go to Human Resources, get stripped, turn in your stuff, not comply there, go into a no-pay status, quote unquote, temporarily, while then you go to the second floor and get subjected to the direct order, where we're asking you to deny the direct order, ignore it, get the CR number. You can immediately walk over to Human Resources, comply with the portal if that's your decision, get reinstated like you never missed a beat, get your credentials back, you're still on the payroll, and go back to your day like you normally would. But if the problem with this has all been the city's reluctance to deal with the discipline from the get-go. The discipline even is going to end up in arbitration. There's a ton of topics that are going to end up at this arbitration hearing whenever we do end up having it. There's a lot of legwork to work out here. I know the city thinks it's as simple as the December 31st deadline for the vaccine. It's beyond that. This goes on to the portal. The judge did not say the portal was okay. The judge simply said the portal can be decided by an arbitrator at a later date. That's what we're going to do. There's a whole bunch of arguments we need to present in front of this arbitrator and prepare for. So it's going to take a little while. Regrettably, the extended hours at headquarters have made the lodge availability extremely thin. We only had 3 people up here today all day. And if they keep doing this, it's going to be that in the foreseeable future. So if you have an issue to be addressed with the lodge that's not related to the vaccine, send an email to one of the officers. Someone will get back to you as soon as they possibly can. I'm just going to say this about the officers, and I'm not singling out any more than another, but this fight was always about protecting our contractual rights and forcing the city to follow the contract. Those first officers in the first couple of weeks who did say, put me in a no-paid status, made the difference. It got some attention. It got the city to at least correct course, and it thankfully got the judge to say it's time to do the right thing. So those officers will ever hold a unique spot in this fight because they were the trigger that made this happen. I don't want any of them to think, and any of you should think, that they did it for nothing, because we are going to end up in arbitration in part because of what they did. And to the officers who think this is not your fight, I've said it before. If you didn't see that video, I'm going to say it again. This may not have been your fight in your head because you were vaccinated and you didn't see a problem with the portal and you complied before the deadline. Great. But the problem is the next time it might be your fight. And those decisions weaken this union and its fight and standing going forward. So please consider a little long-term strategy when we have these issues going forward, because the mayor is not going to stop here. There will be booster shot after booster shot, and God only knows what else she's going to try and throw on top of that in the last 15 months of her term, because it is only 15 months left, and she will be gone, thankfully. But with her little vindictive nature, the scorched earth policy will be in full effect. She is going to try and do everything she possibly can to make life miserable for the police department, specifically because this union held the line, stood the ground, and fought the fight that other labor unions did not. With that being said, I was told at a meeting today, or I should say a meeting that was recently held with the mayor, she was pretty clear. She realizes that she was trying to push this through as quickly as possible with the least resistance, and that didn't happen. And that likely testing going forward is going to end up being an option, but she can't give in, even though it's the smart thing to do, because if she gives in, the FOP wins, and God forbid John Catanzara cannot have a win. And those are pretty much the words that came out of her mouth. Talk about petty. I know none of us are surprised, but just know this fight is not over. We are going to keep fighting it until the last option is available to us. With that being said, have a safe weekend. Everybody, good night.